We found someone who can do your job for 60% of your salary, my boss said after 11 years. I packed my things without a word. 2 hours later, my phone kept ringing. It was the VP of operations. Where are you? We have the quarterly review, he demanded. My boss didn't know the VP and I had lunch together every month for 6 years. I started at this company when I was 38. My wife was building her real estate business. Our 2 kids were heading toward college and we needed something steady. The job wasn't glamorous. Logistics manager for a mid-size automotive parts distributor. But I was good at it. The operation was a mess when I arrived. Parts stored wrong, suppliers threatening to walk, orders getting botched every week. The guy before me quit after 6 months and said the complexity was unmanageable. I stayed, learned every part we carried, every supplier's quirks, which manufacturers ran late, which chemicals couldn't sit near each other in summer heat. Built the whole system from nothing. Took 3 years to make it actually hum. After that, it just worked invisibly. And that invisibility turned out to be my biggest problem. Because when things run perfectly, nobody asks why. They just assume it was always easy. My boss showed up 18 months ago, transferred in from Chicago with an MBA and zero logistics experience. He loved dashboards. He loved presenting to corporate. He'd walk into meetings and say things like, our systems basically run themselves now. Technically true, but only because I'd spent a decade eliminating every failure point by hand. He never asked how it worked. I built him reports, covered his blind spots, made him look sharp upstairs. He repaid me by deciding I was expensive. The morning he called me in, he used the phrase digital transformation twice in 4 sentences. Said they'd found someone who could do my role for 60% of my salary. Told me to have my transition documents done by end of day. My replacement started Monday. It was Thursday. I didn't argue. Just went back to my desk, wrote 6 pages of process notes I knew his replacement would never understand without context, packed a coffee mug and a small cactus, and walked out. Now here's the part my boss never knew. 6 years ago, a supplier tried to price gouge us during a production crisis. Emergency transmission parts marked up 300%. Loss prevention wanted to just pay it. I asked for 4 hours, sourced the same parts elsewhere at standard pricing, and saved the company $180,000 on one order. The VP of operations heard about it and called me personally. We started having lunch every month after that. Nothing formal, just 2 people who respected results. He had a long memory. I had lunch with him scheduled that same afternoon, 4:30. He called 4 times before I even reached the parking lot. I finally answered. Where are you? We have the quarterly review. Your manager keeps saying you're unavailable. I told him I wasn't unavailable. I'd been fired. Long silence. He what? Fired me this morning. Told me to pack up and write transition notes. His voice went flat. I'm looking at the quarterly agenda. You're listed as presenter for operational efficiency, supplier performance, distribution optimization. You've never missed this review. I know. Stay by your phone. He hung up. 20 minutes later, HR called. Terminating a division lead required VP authorization. Nobody got it. My boss had fired me on impulse without following a single proper procedure. HR had questions. I answered all of them. Monday, it fell apart. Suppliers calling because orders weren't processing. Parts going to the wrong dealers. A transmission shipment for a Ford plant had been sitting unlocated since Friday. The new hire spent 3 hours searching Zone 7. It was in Zone 12. Climate controlled. Blue tags. Always had been. By Tuesday, the replacement was gone. Said the job was nothing like described. He'd been told it was basically data entry. My boss called Tuesday afternoon. Voice tight. Procedural issue, he said. Administrative error. Needed me back immediately. I asked what happened to his digital transformation candidate. He said that fell through. I told him I'd think about it. He called again Thursday. I hung up before he finished. The VP called Friday. New title. Direct report to him. 20,000 more per year. I started the following Monday. My boss had to manage the chaos himself. Every supplier complaint. Every report he couldn't generate. No support, no handoff. Dean made sure of that. I heard he's still training his replacement. 6 months later, 4 of my former suppliers called me directly. Said they were frustrated. Wanted to know if my new department needed their services. Contracts formalized within the year. Relationships they'd built with me personally, not with a company logo. My old boss used to say, I made complex logistics look effortless. He wasn't wrong. He just never understood that effortless is the hardest thing to build and the hardest to replace.